Day 10,000 inside the bunker. The silence here is absolute. Sometimes, I check the external sensors just to make sure the wind is still blowing on Earth. It is. But it's a quiet wind, not like the one I've been studying this week. We need to talk about the sibling we abandoned. Mars is the favorite child, the red hope. But Venus is the family secret we try to forget. Back in the Cold War, the Soviet Union became obsessed with Venus. While the Americans were golfing on the moon, the Soviets were launching heavy metal into the most hostile environment in the solar system, the Venera program. To this day, it remains the most brutal feat of engineering in human history. They sent probes to land on a world where the surface temperature is 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The atmospheric pressure is 90 times that of Earth. Standing there would feel like being 1 kilometer deep under the ocean while being burned alive. They knew the probes would die. It was a suicide mission for robots. And yet, they persisted. Why? The official story is scientific curiosity. But looking at the declassified archives, I see something else. I see desperation. I see a rush to find answers before the signal cut out. In 1982, Venera 13 landed. It survived for 127 minutes, a record. It sent back color panoramic images. They show a yellow sky, orange soil, and sharp, flat rocks. But look closely at the footage. Years later, a Russian scientist, Leonid Xanthomilidi, analyzed these images again. He claimed to see movement, a shape he called the scorpion, something that appeared, moved, and then vanished. The scientific community ridiculed him. They said it was just noise or debris from the lander. But then, there's the audio. Venera 13 and 14 carried microphones. They recorded the first sounds ever heard from another planet. I have the raw files on my terminal right now. The history books tell you it sounds like wind, a deep, low-pitched roar. But I have spent the last 3 days running these files through modern spectral analysis algorithms tech that didn't exist in 1982. When you filter out the static interference from the radio transmission, the wind changes. It stops sounding like weather. Wind is random, nature is chaotic. But this sound, it has a frequency. A steady, rhythmic thrumming, like a heartbeat of iron. Listen to the rhythm. It's too regular to be geological. It's too loud to be seismic. It sounds exactly like the ambient noise floor of a massive industrial complex. Imagine a factory the size of a continent running on autopilot, churning out smoke into a sky that no one can see. This leads us to the great filter theory. We look for aliens and we find silence. We assume space is empty, but maybe we are looking for the wrong signs. We are looking for radio waves for greetings. We should be looking for graveyards. Consider Venus not as a planet, but as a timeline. Scientists agree that billions of years ago, Venus was very much like Earth. It had oceans. It had a blue sky. It might have had life. Then, something happened. A runaway greenhouse effect. We tell ourselves it was volcanoes. It makes us sleep better at night. But what if the event was artificial? Imagine a civilization on Venus, just slightly more advanced than we were in the 21st century. They grew hungry for energy. They built machines to harvest the planet's core. They polluted their atmosphere in a desperate bid for growth. They didn't stop when the temperatures rose. They built higher walls. They built stronger cooling systems. They retreated underground until the planet itself turned against them. The scorpion the Soviets saw, maybe it wasn't a biological creature. Maybe it was an automated repair drone, still following its programming, millions of years after its masters turned to ash. And that sound, that rhythm, it's the sound of the machines that killed the planet. Still running, still waiting for an order to stop. When I look at the data from Earth's satellites before the network went down, I see the same isotopes. I see the same trajectory. We didn't learn from our neighbor. We looked at a burning house and decided to light a match in our own living room. The Soviet engineers were right to be afraid. They didn't just find a hellscape, they found a mirror. The Venera probes didn't record the wind, they recorded a warning screaming across 40 million kilometers of empty space. And we just turned down the volume and transmission.